and bliss, and welcome to this week's astrology forecast. We are going to cover how the week opened up on June 14th and walk our way through June 21st. It is already Tuesday and I needed some integration time. You probably did as well. So let's get into what is happening this week. So this week we have the Orion New Moon gateway that took place over the weekend, the Galactic Destiny alignments, and the Summer Solstice portal coming up on Sunday the 21st. So this week opened up one of the most powerful energetic corridors of the year. The annual Orion alignment reaches its peak as the sun activates multiple stars with Orion. Simultaneously, we move through a powerful new moon that happened on the 14th, the 15th, and some lingering energies on the 16th as well. Mars changed signs this week. Venus undergoes a powerful transformational initiation with Pluto. Chiron begins a new healing cycle, and we culminate all of that at the end of the week with the Summer Solstice happening on the 21st. It's been a very strong couple of weeks, these last few weeks, with these full moons, new moons, alignments, conjunctions, portal, Kundalini awakening, shedding identities, and some of us are literally on fire, hence the red. So let's see what else we have going on. This week is not a week of passive observation. This week is for conscious creation. The universe is inviting us to become intentional about what we are building this week, what we are healing, and what future we are choosing to embody. What am I now ready to create from a place of alignment is what we are being asked. What are you now ready to create now that you've shed those old identities and tap into what is required of you so that you can stay in alignment with these energies, okay? So the true sidereal placements, we have the sun moving from Taurus into Gemini on the 19th. We have the new moon in Gemini on the 15th, which was on Monday. So still some of that energy still here at the top of the week. We have Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Cancer. Mars is moving into Taurus on the 16th. We still have Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, Pluto in Capricorn, and Chiron shifting its healing station into Taurus on the 19th. So this week combines communication, manifestation, stability, healing, destiny, and conscious expansion, if I get my words together. Gemini encourages us to speak, learn, teach, and connect. Taurus reminds us to build a stronger foundation. Cancer invites emotional honesty and nourishment, and the Orion Gateway helps us to remember our higher visions. On Sunday the 14th, we had a conjunction with Al-Niliam, which is still within the Orion constellation. That started the week off. It represents alignment, focus, and conscious creation. It acted as a stabilizing force, helping you prepare for the powerful new moon portal that happened the following day. So again, we had that conjunction, then we had that new moon energy, and I'm sure you're still feeling that. This is an ideal time to work with refining your intentions, clarifying your goals, complete unfinished tasks, create energetic space for new beginnings, and engage in healing and alignment work. The reflection that energy is calling forth is, what am I preparing to create this next chapter? Because we are in a new book. The old book is closed and done, right? On the 15th, we had that new moon, and then we are now also in the Mercury retrograde shadow phase, okay? So that means some old energies, you might be ruminating around some things. All of that is also starting now. This lunation is helping to bring in a new beginnings. It can also help you spark your spark a newness in wanting to write some new things. You could be wanting to write a new book or starting to author something in your life. Your business could be going through a growth spurt. You might be changing your content creation, and your authentic expression is now stepping forward because it has no choice. It is time to really just be who you are, and why not? Who else are you going to be, right? Outside of yourself. So the seeds planted now have the potential to grow significantly over the coming months. At the same time, Mercury is in its pre-retrograde shadow period. So pay attention to conversations, ideas, opportunities, contracts, and decisions. Make sure they're not impulsive. Make sure you're actually taking the time to kind of sculpt out what needs to be, what needs to go where, who you should talk to about something, reading the fine prints of things, or finishing up some things, okay? The reflection with that is, what story am I ready to rewrite? What truth am I ready to express more fully, okay? Mercury deals with your intellect and your expression. Now moving into Tuesday, our Mars day, okay? Mars is entering Taurus, and for some of you, this is some much needed energy. It's helping us ground our actions. We also have the Sun conjunct. One of the most significant energetic shifts this week is when Mars is leaving Aries and moving into Taurus. Again, this is offering us the opportunity to ground our action, okay? Mars in Taurus teaches patience, consistency, endurance, and sustainable growth, not just impulse, but sustainable growth. The focus shifts from initiating to stabilizing. This transit reminds us that meaningful success is often built through steady effort rather than sudden bursts of activity. So nothing wrong with having that burst of, ooh, I feel like I need to do this, ooh, I feel like I need to do that. But what is going to be sustainable is what the Mars energy is asking us now. This transit reminds us that even though we are called to initiate something, even though we are all leaders in our own right, sometimes you have to slow it down a bit, make sure the foundation is good, check to see where there may be some cracks, okay, from that initial fire, that initial spark, and make sure it is stable. Make sure you're not building on sinking sand, okay? So the reflection here is, what deserves my commitment and consistent attention? Again, what deserves my commitment and consistent attention? Wednesday is a big communication day. On the 17th, we have Venus opposite Pluto. We have Venus trine Neptune. We have the Sun conjunct Saiph, and the Sun opposite the Galactic center, okay? Wednesdays are Mercury days, so I always expect celestial communication or some kind of important communication on Wednesday. So this Wednesday, the 17th, is jam-packed full of energy, okay? This is going to be one of the most emotionally significant days this week. Venus opposite Pluto brings deeper relationship dynamics into your awareness, okay? Themes may include emotional honesty, trust, intimacy, attachment patterns, and personal values. These are the things that Venus deals with in regards to your attachment, your personal values. Pluto is going to ask you to be honest. It's going to transform something, okay? So combined, expect there to be some energy in your relationships that may come to the surface. Whether you talk about them or not, mentally, you're going to be having those conversations, and it's okay to scope that out within yourself first, right? Deal with self first, and then bring it out into your connections, okay? But expect relationship transformations here. All at the same time, Venus is trining Neptune, which softens the experience by encouraging compassion, forgiveness, spiritual connection, and heart-centered awareness. Just because there's a transformation happening, or just because something had to transform, does not mean you have to put your compassion down, but be compassionate with self first, enough to have the conversation, enough to have the awareness, enough to have the self transformation, and then move it external to yourself, all right? This alignment encourages us to examine whether our relationships truly support our emotional well-being while Venus is still traveling through Cancer, sculpting out our emotional needs and home base to ourselves. The reflection here is what emotional truth is ready to be acknowledged and what relationship patterns are ready to transform. Happening on the 18th, on Thursday, on Jupiter Day, we have the Polaris alignment beginning, and we still have the sun opposite the Galactic Center. The Galactic Center is located around the Sagittarian constellation. So we have the North Star, Polaris, becoming activated here. For centuries, Polaris has represented guidance, navigation, destiny, and divine direction. Combined with the Galactic Center opposition, many people may experience increased synchronicities, heightened intuition, course corrections, lots of that over the last couple of weeks, a clearer purpose, and a stronger sense of direction. Again, think center. Think of yourself as a galactic energy, right? And your center is opposite your conscious awareness or your ego, okay? Your personality, all right? So you have to center yourself here. The universe may begin communicating through signs, unexpected opportunities, conversations, and moments of clarity. Those moments. The invitation is to trust what is being revealed. On the 19th, we have Chiron entering Taurus and the sun entering into Gemini. This marks a significant long-term shift. Chiron begins a new healing cycle focused on self-worth, abundance, receiving, stability, the physical body, financial security, and personal value. If you do not know your Chiron placement, spend some time learning about your Chiron. I do have a Chiron playlist on linked in my TikTok account, and it is up to Scorpio, so I still have a couple more to do, but I do have the Chiron in Taurus video. So if your Taurus is if your Chiron is in Taurus, be sure to check that out as well. But collectively, we are entering a period of healing around deservingness. At the same time, the sun, again, we're in tropical, sidereal astrology here. So the sun is entering into Gemini, shifting the focus towards communication, learning, visibility, networking, and sharing information. The lessons become more clearer, and now you're starting to know your value where there might have been some stagnation, and you really owning your self-value and knowing what's right for you and moving in that with confidence, okay? The reflection here is, what am I finally ready to receive? Because for some of us in the community, receiving is a wound we needed to heal. Receiving. Can you receive all of who you are? To then value yourself to wait to receive that reflection in return, okay? What gifts am I ready to share with the world as well? Once you receive yourself, right? Once you come home to self, once you sculpt out that self-worth, once you remove some energies from yourself that are not quite ready to be there, what now can you give back as service? Moving into June 20th, we have the sun conjunct Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse as some people call it, the final day of the Orion Alignment. Here, the Orion gateway enters its culmination, and it carries a frequency of leadership, visibility, conscious creation, expansion, and future vision. Again, those have been the themes since we've been in this Orion alignment. Everything revealed through this week has been coming together for this moment, right? So think of it as packaging up. It's so that you can deliver it, okay? The path ahead should feel a bit clearer. If not, again, allow yourself to have worked through those energies this week and set the goal, right? Set the goal to really get clear about some big things in your life or business or self-value, what you want to bring forward, things like that, okay? So reflect on the vision that you are ready to bring into the reality of where you are. I'm hearing bring into the reality of where you are. They also wanted me to mention 553 can be important to somebody, 553. And then we have the summer solstice on the 21st, marking a sacred turning point for the solar year here in the combination of the sun energies. The solstice is honored by a portal of illumination, abundance, vitality, and conscious expansion. Here, this represents the peak of the solar light, serves as a powerful checkpoint within the yearly cycle. And this asks you what has grown within you this year. What are you choosing to move forward with? And what deserves your continued energy? Big themes this week has been the new moon in Orion, Mars entering Taurus, Venus opposite Pluto, the Galactic center in Polaris alignments, Chiron entering Taurus, and the summer solstice. This week, allow yourself to walk through this corridor of energy, trust the vision unfolding for you, honor your worth, build with your intention, follow divine guidance, and step confidently into the future of where you're being guided. Step with all of big steppers, step with all of who you are, okay? All of who you are this week. Be real heavy with your movements. Be real intentional with your movements this week, okay? Let it land how it's supposed to land when Mars is in Taurus this week, okay? Making the shift, especially with Chiron moving into Taurus as well. Y'all know how big the bull is. We make room, okay? All right? I love y'all. Peace.